Skullcandy Crusher Evo or Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2. That's gonna depend on a lot of things like your personal preferences, things like that, but hopefully this video will help. So without wasting any more of your time, starting with the design, you got the Evo case, which I like better. It's a little bag. It's not as protective as the ANC 2 hard shell case. This is more of your standard headphone case. Both come with USB-C cables and aux cables. Both have a very similar design, all plastic build. Personally, I prefer the design of the ANC 2. It just looks more friendly or something. The Evo looks angry. Various button controls, but the big difference to me is the bass slider on the Evo specifically. I really like the way it does it. It's a slider that lets you tell exactly how much bass you're adding. You can max it out, you can lower it, fine tune it. Let's say you just need a little bit more bass, you can just quickly adjust that and you know exactly how much bass you're adding. On the ANC 2s, you got this infinite dial that can just keep spinning. I just wish they took the slider from the Evo and brought it over, but maybe made it a bit better somehow instead of just throwing in a dial. The Evo with that rubber weird squishy plastic headband is not as comfy. I do get a pressure point at the top of my head after around the hour and a half, 2 hour mark. They're better for shorter listening periods, I find, like the gym or shorter commutes. The ANC2 has a nice fabric headband that is a very welcomed comfort addition. I can wear these for much longer. The ear pads are a lot bigger and plushier and squishy. You do notice the difference in comfort with the ANC2s. The Evos I do believe are lighter, but they just feel more dense and heavy on my head. I feel like the Crusher ANC2s distribute the weight better. So overall, the comfort is just a lot better on the ANC2s. Of course, they both got that sensory bass, and I'm seeing some debates on whether the ANC2s are better in terms of sensory bass or if the Evos are not good enough. Both are fantastic. If you're looking for face melting bass, these will do it for you. I'm not a huge fan of maxing it out and listening to it that way. It just ends up making my hearing have that after concert feeling. But I like to keep it around the 20-40%. I find it just adds enough feeling to it that just gives you a different experience. No matter which ones you choose, they're both gonna be good on the sensory bass department. But if I had to compare it, if I had to get nitpicky, I would say that the ANC2s do have a slight leg up. I don't know if it's because they're newer, they have better motors in them. I don't know the whole technical thing going on in them. Maybe it's just placebo because they're more expensive and they're newer, so my brain just thinks, oh yeah, these are better. That's just how minor of a difference it is. To me, you may notice it more, but I don't know. I think they both just offer very good bass, and that I don't think you'll have an issue if you go with either of these if you're just looking for good bass. Which leads me into sound quality, which is also very similar in both of these too. Emphasis on the low end. They're not gonna have the insane clarity of the Sony XM5s or the spaciousness. They ain't the best sound on the market, but they're not terrible and they'll get the job done. Basically, if you're an audiophile, what the heck are you doing buying these? If you're just looking for a fun headphone to listen to with some decent sound and good bass, either of these will do just fine. They both have a built-in tile, so you can track it if you lose it and hopefully find them again. They both got personalized sound, which is cool. They both work with an app. However, this is where it starts to get different. So we're gonna put the Evos away and just kind of talk about the ANC2s now. The ANC2s, like the name says, it has active noise cancellation and transparency mode. The name ANC may fool you because it has it in the name, it must be the best. But there are headphones with way better active noise cancellation, but they'll cost more. When nothing's playing and you have the noise cancellation on, there's a little bit of that white noise sound. I did say that they both work with a Skullcandy app. The Evos work with the older Skullcandy app, or I think that's what it's called. The ANC2s work with their newer Skull IQ app, which allows you to set up custom EQ and access this new Skullcandy voice control. You can tell it to open Spotify, skip songs, turn up the volume, increase the amount of sensory bass. You do gotta yell, "Hey Skullcandy," in order to activate it, so it's mostly for when you're alone. And they also have multi-point, so you can connect 2 devices, which is something that you can't do with the Evos. Overall, I think they're both really fun headphones. I would take the ANC2 personally if I was going out and I was gonna buy it all over again. I do like having the option of active noise cancellation, even if it isn't the best in the world. And I like my headphones to be comfy. I think that's a huge part of my buying decision. If the headphone ain't comfy, that's a waste of money to me. But that's just my experience. Let me know if you've tried either of these, what you think. Do you find the Evos comfy? I've heard some people do. Hopefully this helped you. I'm hoping I hit most of the important points. I didn't want to mention it in the beginning because that's when people click. They just want to jump into the video, but I wanted to say, if you've made it this far, thank you for the freaking love on the Crusher Evo. It's at 50,000 views and it's still growing, and all the nice comments, and people seem to really have found it a useful review. I also have an ANC2 video doing a more in-depth video as well, a more in-depth review. So if you want to see that, link is below that too. And you can watch either of those, and that can also potentially help you decide on whether or not to buy these or not, or which one to buy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Farewell.